Gentlemen, thank you for coming. I mean, first of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you, not just for being here, but for what you've done, because you guys helped create something. You guys helped start something that, to me, like, you feel these characters on a sensory level. Like, you feel these characters like you feel Snoopy and Charlie Brown and the Peanuts, or Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. You feel these characters. You don't think about them. And I feel like without you guys, that doesn't happen. So I wanted to personally thank you for that. And for David, J.J. Abrams, Bob Orsi, and Alex Kurtzman can eat their hearts out because they never got an Emmy for Star Trek.
Thank you.
So I guess my question is for you gentlemen, when did you realize that, because, if, you're doing a lot of these shows back in the 80s when when we have the deregulation and they're able to do all these cartoon and toy shows, but when did you start really realizing that this one, I guess, had legs and that, wow, people really like this and like what we're doing?
I got an answer for that. Ooh, I know the answer to this one. It was seeing the absolute hatred that parents of children would direct at me at the time when I said, oh yeah, I'm working on a show, or I wrote for a show that was on last year called Transformers. And they were like, that was you? My kid wants every one of those. And it was, and the reason why I say it wasn't the hatred that gave it away, but it was like the kids were obsessed. Absolutely obsessed. I mean, you were all those kids, so you were probably obsessed. And the parents would always be like, why is my child, why are they so obsessed with these stupid robots that turn into cars? And my answer was, can you make the robot turn into a car? Do you know how to do that? And they were like, no, I don't know how my kid does it. So can you make the car turn back into the robot? No, I don't know. I said, it's something that kids can do that parents don't get at all. They absolutely don't get. So it really belongs to the kids. Great point. But seeing how obsessed the kids were is probably the only reason why I'm not completely gobsmacked that we're all sitting up here talking about it. Because believe me, for all of us, this was just a job. I mean, it was just one of many jobs. The guy who was just up here who asked the question had this really cool T-shirt on that showed Skeletor and said, "Make Eternia great again." Any of you guys work on that show? He-Man? I worked on He-Man.
No.
Did you? No, really? Well, I always said Transformers had the best voice, and honestly, it did.
You could have written for us if you
had
did.
the greatest voice cast of any cartoon. I think it was like anybody who was anybody, and especially anybody who was good, was because the cast was so vast, But every one of those voices, some of that was you guys, and some of that was Wally.
Yeah.
Because Wally did. I'm not surprised to hear that he sort of gave you line readings. Because
there was
he knew
no
how to
sort
get
of
the sound, but he had that
it.
sound, and it's like I always wanted every show I wrote to have that there's a sound to the Transformers voice work.
Well, Wally got that sound. There's something called storyboards, which the director looks at before the recording session, and they're basically like comic book panels that shows what's happening in each scene. And Wally would study those the night before, and I'm sure for hours, and decide how each line should be read, and that's where this line reading thing, I think, came from. But you got to hand it to him. He came up with something that sure lasted.
But the thing is, you watch those shows and just close your eyes, or turn off the picture or something, or just record them, and they're as much fun to listen to as they are to watch. In fact, in a lot of cases, the voice work and the general soundtrack work is better than the crappy Korean, toy sea-level animation
like a
that
true
they were
writer. You don't need the pictures, just listen to the words.
But the Transformers, they made great radio, and that was you guys, and it was Wally. A lot of it was Wally. Anyway,